Hey, what's up guys, it's Hayden.
Hey, and I'm Emma. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you for joining us. We've got another review for you today. We've just come back from the cinema seeing The Suicide Squad. Now, we actually did want to see this much sooner, but unfortunately, our city was back in lockdown when this movie was released. Of course, the week that it comes out, we're shut for that whole week, so no cinemas for us.
That week was a complete write-off.
Yeah, so that's why we're a bit late seeing it, but we've seen it now. If you want to hear our thoughts, this will be spoiler-free, so you don't need to worry about any spoilers at all. Stick around if you want to know what we thought of this one.
So the Suicide Squad follows a new iteration of the gang as they are tasked with a mission to hunt down and destroy a science experiment codenamed Project Starfish. Now, this is kind of a sequel to the first one. It doesn't necessarily, follow on from that story, but it doesn't ignore it either, The characters, seem like they know each other. They pretty much jump straight into it. They don't bother explaining, the setup or, what the whole thing with the Suicide Squad is. They just jump straight into it.
They assume you've seen
the first one. So yeah, I did appreciate that. What I also appreciated was just how bonkers and off the wall and crazy this movie was. I didn't know what to expect from one moment to the other.
Yeah.
It was just so surprising, so new, so fresh. I think it was exactly what DC needed. I think it was a shot of adrenaline to the DC movie franchise.
Absolutely. I loved this movie. For those who follow our channel, we did do a bit of a reaction when the trailer came out. And the trailer looked great.
Yeah.
And I was expecting to like it, but I was not expecting to love it. And there was just so many things that I wasn't expecting in this movie. Obviously, no spoilers, but don't get attached to your favourite characters.
They're going Game of Thrones in this bitch.
They did go a bit Game of Thrones in this movie. Some of these characters are not safe.
No.
And gone in like the first 5-10 minutes. So that was very surprising. They went there.
Think Slipknot in the first movie times 10.
Yeah. And I think I turned to you and I was like, surely they didn't just kill off. Did they?
Like main characters that are like in the trailer. Just gone. Just like, whoa. Okay.
But we'll say no more.
Yeah.
That was really surprising. The other thing that I was really surprised about was the sheer amount of gore.
Oh my god.
And I love that.
Bucket loads of gore.
So much blood. And like close-ups on effects and
They don't shy away from it. This is an R-rated Suicide Squad movie. They aren't dumbing it down. They aren't cutting things out to get that M rating. No, they're going straight R rating.
We've got the language as well. There's some foul language from some of our characters. Yep.
If this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I had to eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Potty mouths, bunch of potty mouths.
Wash their mouths out with soap. Oh my goodness. But most of all, I think this movie was just a lot of fun. This movie was funny. It was exciting. It was exhilarating.
It had energy to it. It just had an energy to it, right? And I feel like the first one just didn't. The first one tended to kind of stagnate at a couple of moments and just didn't quite get going. This one just front to back, energy, fun, excitement, violence, blood, gore, everything that you could want.
And also, something that I wasn't really expecting was some real emotional beats.
There was some heart in this one.
That was awesome. We kind of were like taken on this ride of emotions in a way. Like you were like laughing our heads off one minute and you're like, oh, wholesome moment the next and a little bit of a tear. But it was everything that I wanted and more. I was not expecting to love this movie as much as I do. But wow, this is how you do a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Well done, James Gunn.
And I think the cast helped a lot too. I think you need a good cast to just invest in this kind of lunacy. Idris Elba, fantastic.
Amazing actor.
Amazing actor. Great in everything he does. You know, he had a little bit of backstory. He had a bit of depth. You know, there was a bit of heart with him. You know, a bit of an arc going on.
Yeah.
He worked really well with John Cena's Peacemaker. They had a great back and forth. I thought John Cena, you know, he's really coming into his own as an actor.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, our favourite Aussie actress, Aussie sweetheart Margot Robbie.
One Harley Quinn.
One Harley Quinn, yes, was also fantastic.
Brilliant as always. Yeah, just fantastic acting from all of them. And I have to say, like, Idris Elba, for me, also kind of filled that void of Will Smith not coming back.
You could argue an improvement.
Without saying Will Smith was bad.
No, not saying Will Smith was bad. He probably actually saved that last movie from complete, you know,
Disaster.
dumpster fire. But Idris Elba, I mean, not a bad replacement.
He was
upgrade, you know.
Yeah, he was a good leader, a good actor to take the reins in this one. And yeah, all these actors and characters worked well together. It was really cool to see this Suicide Squad 2.0 in a way.
Yeah, we had Rick Flag back, you know, he was great. We had Polka Dot Man, new edition in Polka Dot Man, which...
Oh my god.
When I saw him in the trailer, I was like, how is this going to work? Like, I feel like this is just going to get a little bit too silly for me.
Yes.
But no, they made it work. They even tried to explain his superpowers in like a kind of a realistic kind of way. And I was like, okay, I'm going with it. But it worked.
It's completely bonkers, but even he had like heart behind, like there was some emotional components to him, and I'd actually, after seeing this, and if you go and see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I really want to see a standalone movie of the Polka Dot Man. He's got some backstory that I want to explore.
He's got some mother issues, just put it that way.
He's got some serious mother issues, and I want them unpacked.
Oh yes, we need them unpacked. And there's a great running gag with him as well that I loved. And every time they bring it in, it's hilarious. And then he just crescendos into what I can only explain and what I can only describe as one of the funniest scenes of a movie I've seen in the last 10 years. It was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. So good.
I'm sure we were the loudest laughers.
Oh yeah.
We had a blast. It was so good.
And another new addition we had was Ratcatcher, who I think was the beating heart of this movie. I thought she had a lot of depth, and just, it was kind of one to bring the whole gang together. I thought she was just the heart of this movie.
Yeah, she was another character that had a lot of emotion behind her. And she was a little bit of she's a misfit in society, but she was a little bit of a misfit with the Suicide Squad as well, because she's just so different to all of them. She's got this real soft side to her, and you kind of watch her and are like, how are you here? How did you end up in this position? They obviously touch on it a little bit, but she's another character I would love to see a backstory of. I'd love to see her origin story told.
Yeah, and you know who else I'd like to see in that backstory? Her little rat sidekick, Sebastian. I love Sebastian.
Oh my
He's
god.
so cute.
Prepare for cuteness overload. There is the most adorable little rat in this movie as well.
He's got a little jacket on.
He's got a little
waves that everyone else gives.
He's so precious. I want him so bad.
For those of us that don't know, we used to have a pet rat called Barnaby. Rats make really great pets. They're really sweet, really adorable. So we loved little Sebastian. We thought he was the cutest thing.
And Sebastian looked so much like little Barnaby as well. I was like, oh, reminds me of Barnaby wearing a jacket. So cute.
So yeah, we loved Ratcatcher and Sebastian. I thought they were fantastic.
I felt like watching her too. I related to her character the most. Aside from the fact of, loving rats, she is not a morning person. I thought that was another really funny... That was like
Relate.
That was a running joke with her, is she loves her sleep, and oof, girl, I relate.
And I feel like the other character that I really kind of grew attached to was King Shark.
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone's King Shark. I loved King Shark. I thought he was just a big, lovable oaf.
He's just a bit of a goofball.
He's a bit of a goofball, yeah.
But, and it was... Because obviously Sylvester Stallone has a very iconic voice.
Distinct voice, yeah.
You could... You can just hear him in his voice. And I was just like picturing Sylvester Stallone in a recording room doing some of these lines and voices for this character. And I was just like watching King Shark just laughing the fact, that's Sylvester Stallone.
But it works so well.
Having to go nom nom.
Nom nom. Hand.
Hand.
I thought it was fantastic.
So good.
And again, just yeah, a little bit more than just a one-dimensional character. Like, he had a little bit of depth. Like, there was a bit of character to him. They almost made this big, giant shark creature and humanized him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He just wanted a friend. He just wanted to be included.
Just wants to be
Just
loved.
wants to be loved. Right? I think
And
that's something we can all appreciate. So I thought all the characters were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought was fantastic was the effects. And not just the CGI effects, because those were done really well.
Yeah.
But some of the practical effects that were used.
The practical effects were fantastic. That was something that I was really keeping an eye out for in this movie, because the original Suicide Squad did actually win an Oscar.
It's Oscar winning.
It is an Oscar-winning movie, funnily enough, for the makeup. Well deserved. And so obviously, you know, I feel like surely that makeup department would have had a bit of pressure to
A little bit, yeah.
to bring it again in this movie, and I really think that they did. I loved the practical makeup effects in this movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but there were some really cool characters. You know, obviously we had the blood and gore in there too. But yeah, I was really impressed with the practical effects in this. So thank goodness they got that right again.
Absolutely.
Oh, and the costumes in this were also amazing. Everyone looked so good. Idris Elba looked great as Bloodsport. I loved his helmet.
Like that skeleton jawline, like a smooth helmet.
It had a bit of a xenomorph look to it, I thought, from
yeah.
Alien. It looked so
It looked
cool.
badass.
It really did. Harley Quinn, obviously, I loved her outfit so much. And yeah, she had one of my favourite looks so far in any of the movies that we've seen her in. Yeah, just some really cool costumes overall. Very colourful movie again.
Yeah.
I have to say there was two completely different styles with these movies. Like, the first Suicide Squad was very, very bold and colourful and neon. This one had a whole new aesthetic to it. It was a little bit more gritty, but it was still a very colourful kind of world that we're in.
And it was a very stylistic movie visually. I think James Gunn added a lot of visual flair to this. And I think he did the same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think this is a different take.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. You could tell that he's a fan of like those 70s, 80s, like exploitation, grindhouse kind of films. Not just with, you know, some of the stuff that was done, but also in like the final title card was very kind of grindhouse.
Yeah.
So you could tell he was influenced by that. He was influenced by like those, you know, over the top B grade kind of horror, splatter, gore fests.
Yeah.
And I thought this had a lot of style to it. There was a lot of style with some of his visuals, and some of it was, you know, a bit more artistic, but he kind of made it work. It was very stylish filming.
Yeah. So it's kind of, the two movies can still fit in the same world, but I do like that he made it his own in that stylized way. As well. So yeah, a lot to love with this movie. The only very, very minor thing, negative thing that I could give it was maybe the soundtrack wasn't as good as the first.
Yeah. I think that'll all depend on taste.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, the first one did have a good soundtrack. I'll get
I loved the soundtrack for the first Suicide Squad. I bought the CD. I enjoy listening to that still. So I think very minor, but I just felt like the soundtrack wasn't as great as the first one, but that's very minor.
Other than that, I think this one was a slam dunk.
This
fantastic.
Was A+. If we did ratings in this in our reviews, I'd give it an A+.
So look out, Marvel, because DC's coming into their own. I think Joker, the new Batman movie coming out, they're starting to make some good movies. They're starting to come into their own.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way that they're going in terms of, I kind of feel like Marvel has kind of set themselves up to...
Well, they've monopolised that kind of PG-13 market, haven't they, when it comes to superhero films? And I feel like DC was trying to kind of battle them on their own turf. Yeah. And they just weren't winning.
They've kind of made their movies for a certain demographic, and DC's now going down this route for, I guess, the older generation. For us.
Adults. The ones that grew up with these characters.
The adult geeks. The adult nerds, you know, the fans of the DC world, and giving us something a bit more hard-hitting. and grittier.
And that's what they do well.
Yes.
Stick with that. Keep doing that. Which it looks like they're doing. I feel like the new Batman movie coming out definitely looks like it's got that grit to it. So yeah, DC, keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, because it's working.
Absolutely. You know? I think from nearly all the reviews that we've read and watched and listened to, all the reviews so far have been really positive for this movie. So I think do yourself a favor, go and see The Suicide Squad.
Get the biggest bucket of popcorn you can, because this is a popcorn flick.
And on the biggest screen you can watch it. Go and see it on the biggest screen. It's over the top, it's ridiculous, it's funny, it's gory, it's heartfelt, it's wholesome, it's emotional. You'll love it.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there. So make sure that you guys let us know what you thought of the Suicide Squad in the comments below. Slam that like button if you like what we do. Hit the bell for the notifications to be notified of what we've got coming up next. Subscribe to our channel and become part of the Headspace Films community. And most importantly of all, thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
See ya.